So the Bills got smacked around, and Mark Kelso was there. He was on the call, part of the Bills broadcast team, former Bill. Mark, Tiki, and Tierney, welcome back to the show, buddy. How you doing?
I'm well. How you guys doing today?
Doing okay. You know, I heard over the weekend that the Bills sold out the RV lot, which very rarely happens. I think only twice in like 10 years or so. Obviously, the city's fired up for Rex. You heard his post-game reaction. He took the bullets, put the the thumb at his chest, rather the finger elsewhere. What did you see? How surprised were you that they scored 40? Give us your reaction, Mark.
Well, sold it out last week as well. Sold it out early. That's the thing that never happens. But did it both these weeks. I mean, the fan base has been fantastic, and they're extremely energetic, and it just created a kind of a crazy atmosphere in the stadium. But I don't think. I mean, sometimes they blow things out of proportion. I think the things that Rex says. He seems very honest. I mean, I've met with him a number of times, and he's exceptionally honest. And he's got. I don't think he has. He doesn't have an air of arrogance when I talk to him.
Nope.
He's kind of got an air of humility, but he's honest about it. And I think he tries to infuse his team ultimately with great confidence. But behind closed doors, I'm sure he's saying, look, if we don't do the things we need to do, this Patriot team is really good. And so he's realistic with his team, and I think that's what players like about him. And then at the end, when they don't play well, again, he tries to deflect attention away from his team himself and says, I didn't put together a good enough plan, and we didn't execute it particularly well, but it's my fault for not putting together the right plan of attack or the right plan of defense, in case may be. But he's going to do that. He's going to put it squarely on himself, and I think he expects other players to share the blame and other coaches. And when there's credit to go around, I think he expects people to pass around credit as well. So, I mean, it's an early test. I think we need to know how he's going to respond to adversity. And if they have the right response, I think it promises to be a really exciting season. And I still think that there's talent on this roster to get to the postseason if they play efficiently and consistently. But this is an early test. I didn't think it would come quite this early, or even if it did against a very good New England Patriot team. I thought it would be a much closer game, but Patriots really had control of the game from that third series on.
Yeah, they really did. And one of the interesting things I took away, Mark, was at the end of the game, when you're up big, you're in a 4-minute offense, and you're pounding the rock, and you're trying to run the clock down. The Patriots didn't do that. They kept dropping back and throwing the ball, and in some ways that allowed the Buffalo Bills to get back in this game. But is that a weakness or a deficiency that just people haven't highlighted in that second level with the linebacking core that may be something of concern for this Rex Ryan defense, which looks like it's going to be great regardless?
No, I mean, I don't think – I would agree with Rex's assessment that I don't know that they had the right strategy going in. This team is an aggressive man defensive team, and I think he was concerned about all the pick routes that they're able to execute pretty flawlessly, although sometimes I think that they are illegal in the rule book, but they get away from them because there's good acting going on there, and they steer themselves into the defensive back and try to make it look like the defensive back hit them. But, I mean, they executed a couple of those yesterday, too, which I thought should have been called but were not. But, I mean, I don't think – I mean, that's what this team – that's their skill set. I mean, I'm a big believer in you play to your strengths, because you can't become great by trying to fix your weaknesses. You become great by playing to your strengths, and you compensate for your weaknesses. But I just think they went away from what their kind of their wheelhouse yesterday. I mean, I thought that they might sit back early to kind of confuse Brady a little bit, just like New England does sometimes. I mean, they may just show up in a 30 defense one series and kind of confuse everybody, put 5 guys on the line of scrimmage, which they did to the Bills yesterday to start the second half. But I thought Rex may sit back a little bit with his defenders, but then really start to bring pressure. I haven't looked at the final stat line, but I'd be shocked if Nikel Roby blitzed even once, and he is really good when he comes off the head of that slot. And they brought some pressure additional times, but they sat back in some coverage a lot of times. And I don't think this team, that's not their strength, is sitting back in coverage. Their strength is attacking, being aggressive at the line of scrimmage, and trying some combo coverage situations as well. But, some of those got away from them as well because they had some with the Aaron Williams injury and a couple guys moving in and out because the guys getting nicked up a little bit, and they hadn't worked together on it particularly a lot during the week, so that caused some issues as well. But the offense, the New England offense, was just, I mean, they were masterful in personnel matchups.
Mar, let me ask you something. Mar, let me hop in because your analysis is tremendous. I just want to make sure that everybody is with you in terms of the terminology. I don't want to get too not that I don't want to say I want to get too football heavy, but I want to at least create a snapshot in your opinion, like an overview that maybe is a little more all-encompassing? Because you've been in the broadcast booth, you played for the Bills, you know the Pats, you know the division, you know it well. And every year, Mark, we play the guessing game. When are the Pats done? Run 1 through 53 on their roster. Forget about what happened yesterday in Ralph Wilson. 1 through 53. How does this roster stack up with previous Pats rosters, considering the defections, the additions, the age, all that stuff? Where does it rate?
Hey, well, as long as you have Tom Brady under center, I mean, it's going to rate right up there. I mean, defensively, I think I don't think they can be as strong a man team certainly as they were last year with Browner and Revis, but they still have some guys that can really play and understand the game. That's the thing. I think they get their players to really understand the game, and then they settle into what they're really good at. And I don't think they have a great pass rush, but they put a lot of pressure on the Bills yesterday because Tyrod was holding the ball some. And then offensively, as long as you have Tom Brady and you can hold the defenders out for 2.5 to 3 seconds, he's getting rid of the ball, and they always find guys that have the skill set that they want. Dion Lewis, I think Rex made a comment earlier in the week that we don't even know who Dion Lewis is, and nobody did because he doesn't have that many touches in the NFL, but he's got great contact balance, great quickness, and he can beat linebackers at the line of scrimmage, and that's the prototypical guy they want when they empty the set out and line up all their potential receivers and running backs on the line, and the only buddy back in the backfield, the only guy back there is Brady. Then they go to work in that situation, or they get Gronkowski in a physical mismatch with a smaller player or maybe a linebacker that he's faster than, and then they go to work there. So they really attack individual players and not necessarily the scheme, but it attacks the scheme too because it's hard to pressure. You at least know that other team's going to pressure when you empty the backfield, and you can expose the pressure, and Brady knows it's coming.
Well, I gather we'll be chatting again because I think we all expect the Bills to bounce back. So 1-1, 2 games in. Mark Kelso, former Bill, part of the radio team. Appreciate it, Mark. Have a good week, and we'll chat soon, man.
Yeah, my pleasure, guys. Have a good day.
You got it.